All protocols are observed. Thank you so much to Department of Transport, to SAMSA for this day and for this event as well, and to all the students that are here. We see you guys in your uniform during the school holidays. You guys are looking good, and we appreciate it. I'm seeing a whole lot of our stakeholders here as well. I'm seeing Sasoa, I'm seeing a Maritime cluster, those of that I can see. I'm seeing Linson Nami. It's good to see all of us here to celebrate the day of the Seafarer. So I will just briefly share my journey as well. And before I even go there, I'm very much inspired by what I've been listening to, the stories that we are hearing mostly from the women, the journey that they've had on board ships, the challenges that they experience on board ships. And one would think that some of those things no longer happen, but they are still taking place. So it was both an inspiration to hear, but also indicating to us all that there's still a long way to go for us as an industry, as the maritime industry. So just briefly on my side, I am Pinky Zungu. I'm called Captain Zungu. Sometimes it makes me smile, sometimes I'm nervous because of maybe whatever expectation sometimes that is paired with that. Especially when Peter calls me and says, Captain Zungu, how come there's still 10 ships waiting outside of Anchorage, and I must provide answers to him. But my story starts from the township of Lamontville. That's where I'm from. Do we have any students here from Lamontville? Do we? Okay, all right. Do we have students from Lamontville? I see Mowat Park there. Okay, all right. So that's where I come from. So my journey with the maritime industry, I went to DUT. It was called Technical Natal at the time. And basically, I was looking for anything, any course to do so that I don't stay at home. And when I got to DUT, they told me there's a course that you can do whereby you can actually travel the world for free. And I was sold. That's all it took for me. I didn't have my own room at home, so when they told me that I'm going to be traveling for free, I wanted to share with my 6 siblings. For me, that was luxury already. So I took it up, and I still had to go and find out what is maritime studies, because I didn't know, I had not heard of even this term, but it just sounded fancy. So I got into the course, and I went to sea. I think I was 20 at the time. So I joined the ship in Richards Bay for my cadetship. And we were going to be sailing at night. And in my head, I thought when we were going to be sailing, there was going to be lights all over, like in a street, like, you know, where you can see where you are going. And it was just unbelievably dark. In fact, it was black. And now I'm scared. I'm like, oh my God, how is this going to happen? Mind you, for my cadetship, that was the first time boarding a ship. So I've done the theory, I've seen all the different ships on paper, and for the first time I'm on board, and it's my first trip. So now I'm nervous, and I want to change my mind now. In fact, I didn't want to do this now. So I called home, and I said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go now. This is scary, and I'm not sure if I'm cut out for this. And my dad, he just said, it's too late now. It's too late now. I've got no means of coming to Richards Bay to fetch you. When I took you there this morning, I had borrowed someone's car, to take you there, and I've got no means of coming back to fetch you. So you're just gonna have to stick it out. So off we went. It was a unicorn shipping chartered vessel at the time. It had an all-Russian crew on board. So these people were talking in a language that I couldn't hear, and they were all men. And I didn't know how to converse with these people, but in any case, off we went, and it was an interesting journey, a journey where I actually got to learn about who I was as a person, because for a short while I thought I was going crazy, because I couldn't speak to anyone. I had my phone, my 5110, of which when we passed Cape Town, the signal just went blank, and I only had the game that was called Snake. Yeah, that's what I had to prevent me from going crazy. So I used to play that because obviously I couldn't call home. We had to wait until 30 days after, where we got back to, we were in England, and I was able to call home and say, I'm alive! After 30 days. I can't imagine what they were going through, not knowing what was happening, but that's how it was then. And it worked. You were able to wait. If it's 2 months, you're going to be able to wait that 2 months before you can call home. And we all survived it. So I came back to Transnet, obviously because my studying was being sponsored by Transnet, by the grace of God. Yeah, they found me at DUT, and they sponsored my training. So when I came back from sea with my Class 3 ticket now, I studied and trained as a tug master now. That one went well. I was a tug master for a year. Then I trained to be a marine pilot. And then I qualified. Oh, before I qualified, I got pregnant. Yeah, I got pregnant, and just, I thought it was the right time, to get pregnant. I was married, I had sort of done everything according to the book and whatnot, but now it was time. So I got pregnant. And I think I was reminded for the first time that I'm a woman. Like, that's what we do get pregnant. Yeah, so that one became a challenge for everyone. Because until something happens, sometimes we're not even aware, that it's a possibility. And no one knows you are a woman in the maritime industry until you get pregnant. That's how you announce it, that I am a woman. So it happened, and it became a glitch because, believe it or not, we were not ready for that within the maritime industry to say, you are now a marine pilot, and then you are pregnant. So how are you going to be bringing those ships in and out? How are you going to be swinging from a helicopter? How are we going to do this? And at the time, we needed to just sit down and say, we're going to have to find a solution. But obviously, my training as a pilot, it had to stop for that particular time, for safety reasons. Yes, for safety reasons. But I was quiet for a while. I think for 4 months I was quiet. I was hoping to get away with it. Being hanged from a helicopter with my stomach, and I could see it happening. I could see myself going up the pilot ladder with my stomach, and I thought, I could do it. But then, we were out on a pilot boat. I had to board a vessel that was coming in, and I was seasick for the first time in my life, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this now? Now I'm vomiting on the deck of the pilot boat, and I'm about to board a vessel. And I'm like, I can't hide this one anymore. I'm going to need to tell somebody that I've got something cooking, in my oven. So I told the pilot boat master, I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to take me back. You know, I'm gonna have to disclose this now. And they were wondering, but you've never been sissy, what's happening? And I'm like, ish, guys, I'm not gonna tell you guys now, I have to tell my managers first, because they have to figure this one out. So when I told them, I was told, immediately you are off piloting. And let me tell you something, if you are a mariner, the only thing that fascinates you is being out there in the water. If someone tells you you have to come to the office, you wanna cry. So I had to stop piloting for a while, and I gave birth to my baby boy. He's 14 now. So then I came back, and then they took me back to piloting. So I continued with my piloting career. I did it for like 8 years. But the picture that I wanted to just paint is that if you are a woman in the industry, even a male in the industry, you do need a different level of courage, because you are out there, you are not by yourself, but you tend to feel that it's your journey and you have to fight. I was listening to the two ladies here when they were talking about their journeys or their stories, that you have to fight for yourself because there's no one else there who has your back. So that is one thing that I needed to learn very early. Even when I was now a marine pilot for TNBA, working in the port of Durban, you would still find a captain who has never seen a female pilot. So the tradition is that when you get on board the ship, you shake a captain's hand, basically to say, are we good? You know, I'm here, I'm going to be taking charge, I'm good with that, your ship is safe with me, you know, are we good? So you will find captains that will size you up, you know, ask you questions, are you qualified? Are you going to be taking my ship in? I'd be like, yes, I will be taking your ship in. And they would shake my hand and they would squeeze it. And I'd be like, oh my God, why is he squeezing my hand? But I soon learned that maybe that was their way of sort of checking my strength, you know, or I don't know, something, you know, but they were checking something, no squeeze. I'll try not to wince, you know, I'll still look at the captain's face, like, to say I'm in business. So that in itself, it makes you a hard person, not in a bad way, but your character, that is. It makes you hard, like, it makes you not only courageous, but by the time you cross in with that ship, if something goes wrong, you already have it in your mind that I'm in charge, I'm gonna have to take control of this. So that is what I was able to learn from my career being out there. There were so many instances as well whereby you get on board and the ship and the ship's captain is like, I'm not gonna let you take my ship in or sail my ship out. I want another pilot. Specifically, I want a male pilot to come and take my vessel out. There's been those instances, but we teach them. We teach them. You know, there was a captain where we got in, I was bringing a ship in a container ship. We were arguing in the bridge. He wanted to do something else. I wanted to do something else. I'm the pilot, I'm the expert for the port of Durban. So I would know better in terms of how the ship is meant to be maneuvered. And we were just not aligning. So I turned around and said, you know what, Captain? I'm gonna turn your ship around and I'm taking you back to Anchorage. And you're gonna sit there until you grow up, because right now you are behaving like a baby. So those are some of the things that not only we as females or as women that we have had to do, but our color as well, being African, somehow it makes other nationalities, when they look at you, they can't trust you. you know. So you constantly have to prove yourself to say, you know what, when I grew up in Lamontville, my dad didn't own ships or yachts or anything, but I'm here now. You know, and we constantly have to push that information to say, or rather that knowledge to say, we are here and we are here to stay. So today, we are here to say to you, our youngsters, our scholars, we have done it. We have pioneered the way for you guys. There are battles that you will no longer have to fight because we were there first. And we got pregnant, you know, we got babies now at home, and maybe we are still continuing, but I hope 3 is fine for now, for my husband, but I'm not sure. But we are in the industry, and we are here to support you. And I'm a believer that all the stakeholders that are here, they are here to even open opportunities for you as scholars. It might not be even opportunities to employ you on a permanent basis, but even if it's to give you guys internships when the time comes, to offer learnerships when you guys have qualified, and to also offer you guys exposure as well, because that counts. When we were at school, we used to come to the likes of Captain Rufus Day. We were still at school at the time, and we would say, we are looking for a job. And there was still Sobantu at the time, Sobantu Tilai. We will go to him and say, can't you give us employment while the schools are closed? And they used to accommodate us. We will come to Transnet and they will give us exposure on the tags. That assisted in us saying, whatever dream that we have, we can see it. So the likes of Linson Nambis, you guys have got barges, please do allow these students to come and visit. And the likes of Sasoa, when we knock on the doors of all those shipping owners, cargo owners, please allow these students, these scholars, to come on board the ships and actually get a feel of what it is Maritime, so that it becomes a reality for them as well. TNPA is doing that. Transnet at large, in fact, is doing that. But specifically for TNPA, because TNPA runs all the 8 ports in South Africa. And I'm proud to say that Transnet is becoming a major player when it comes to the absorption of mariners. We have marine pilots within TNPA. We have tug masters. We have dredge masters. We've got engineers, all sorts. We even have commercial divers within Transnet. And what we do as well, we don't only just encourage the careers that were traditional, you know, your engineer or for you to become a deck officer, but I'm including commercial diving now because you guys have to diversify yourselves as well. You cannot have just that fixated type of mindset to say, I want to be a captain of a ship. Your journey is going to be going all over the show, even before you become a vessel's captain. And you guys will have to be open-minded for you to be able to do that. So you might even, like the lady was explaining here, that she went to the BS, she was with SAMSA, but she could see that she wanted to be out there at sea, and she just kept pursuing that. So that is what I'm encouraging you as the scholars to say, keep your minds open, come and visit our ports. We will accommodate you for an exposure so that you know what is a tug, you know what is a barge, you know what is a container ship, what is a bulk carrier, what is a tanker. We will take you guys around because we want to see you guys as our future, you know, in our ports and out at sea. So for today, we are saying to all the seafarers that are out there and to you, our future seafarers, and we are saying to you, on this day, you are being honored, you know, for the work that you do. Transporting of the goods around the world, We saw what the COVID pandemic did. Seafarers were stuck on board, but they were still there, doing their job. So to all of us, in fact, I would say happy day of the Seafarer today. Thank you so much.